How you doing, legends? It's Thursday here, ready for round 12. I just want to go through the Harry Grant situation. There's plenty to talk about here and plenty of things you can do, whether it's holding, whether it's trading, what you want to do there. And a great article came out from TK here on Talking League. So just going to go through that a little bit, and then I'm going to go through a bunch of your questions there on YouTube in the comments there. So TK was talking about, he's been getting plenty of DMs. Head-to-head players, he was saying to hold, and I completely agree because there's no point wasting that extra couple of trades. So the situation we have, Harry's going to be out round 12. He'll be out round 13 at a minimum, Origin or not. He'll be in Origin in round 17. Okay. Will they, if he plays Origin and plays decent minutes, will they back him up in 14? That's the question. So at a minimum, you're losing for 3 games. Potential losing for 14 and 18 as well. And if he potentially strains it any further, he could obviously miss more games, but that's, we're just talking now. So 12, 13, 17. That leaves 14, 15, 16 at max. So 3 of the next 6 games he will get at a maximum. Is that enough for you? The question here is, he spoke about, well, how many trades have you got left? So anywhere between the 13 to 17 range, which is what he's seeing a lot of people are. If you're at the higher end of this, around that 17 mark, then he suggests that you could potentially make a trade, and he would make a trade. And I think that's completely fair. There are people like, my head-to-head team, for example, has 20. The People Squad has 19. So I suggest that anywhere above 18, 19, 20, I think it's probably a smart idea to trade him. Use that cash to get a bunch of points over the next, there's 3 of the next 6 weeks you'd miss out on him. So you'd be able to get someone for the next 5 weeks, let's say, if you pick up an Origin guy, a non-Origin guy that's playing in 13, you'd get 2 extra good weeks. So that might be an extra 60 points for one trade, which is pretty important. The most important thing to think about, though, is getting him back in. So if you're in the lower end, right, holding could be a good idea. If you have 13, 14 players, 13, 14 trades left, you got Harry, you're like, I want him in my final squad. It's probably best if I just hold, cop the losses, get some cover in there. You'll be able to get someone that can score 30 or something. Yes, Harry's averaging 60, but, that's, it's not the worst thing in the world, right? If you decide that you're like, nah, I just have to trade him out, and you still want to try and get him back in, it's possible, but you're probably going to miss out somewhere else in your squad. If you're bringing Harry back in later, when you have this limited amount of trades, you're probably going to miss out on a good player in another position, right? So just think about that. The other option is if you're trading him out now, you're potentially not going to get him back in because he's going to be around that 850 mark, and it's pretty expensive, right? We look at guys like Papali'i and stuff for being, very high priced player now. So that's definitely something to think about. And he spoke about Grant and Cook being the 2 best hookers in the game this year, and that's very clear. So you're going to be wanting at least one of them going through the rest of the season. So however you're going to play that out is the biggest thing to think about. And with Storm going well, there's every chance that they just rest him in certain games. So that'd be the good idea to move him on. And if he spoke a little bit about hooker cover, Reid Mane, the man that we love so much at the start of the season, he's obviously been scoring pretty well. He doesn't play in 13, which is the issue, but he'll play in 17 unless there's injuries. So something to think about there. Abby Coruscant will play in 13, which is cool. He's been doing really well the last bunch of weeks. He'll play big minutes in that round 13 game for sure to cover the losses of their big dogs. And Brandon Smith is not playing 13, for example, but he's a bit of a question mark. The other guys to think about, we had, you had on there Toll Harris, Nat Butcher, 2 guys that are going to be playing in 13. Toll's got a higher break even. We spoke about him. Great option. But you could probably wait till next week, or you pick him up this week if you wanted to. There's guys like Josh Jackson, plenty of other guys that we spoke about in the buy, hold, sell that are playing in 13. You can mix and match. Obviously, doesn't have to be exactly in the hooker position. If you've got cover, let's just say you've got Cotter and Starling, then I wouldn't bother trading in a hooker. If you've only got Starling, then you could probably get away with it, for a week or so. This week should be fine. Next week will be fine as well. Then you might want to upgrade from there, but that's completely up to you. So there's a few things to think about. But if you've got Cotter and Starling, I think you're completely fine there. But yeah, I just thought that was a really good article. If you want to check them, hit that out and check out the Talking League boys. They obviously got the podcast there on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and then jump in. They're in the Facebook groups as well, along with their own page. So that was a really good article there. Thank you for that, TK. I'm sure that helped a lot of people out and hopefully answers a bunch of these questions that I've got for you. So Pandy's spoke about, he's got 16 trades left. He's got Hylam Lukey. If you got Lukey, mate, I'd be holding on to him. So that probably rules out that. But trading Grant to maybe a Butcher this week could be a good idea. Gives you a bit of cash to upgrade or trade out one of your cheaper guys for Karaz. That would be the way I'd go for that, Panda. Thanks for being in the comments a lot. Question here from Dan. I'm on a quick cash grab. What 1, 2, 3 here said was great. Doesn't play 13, so potentially in 14 could be a solid option for you. Just the 1 week and then one week on, 1 week off is going to be a killer for him. So I wouldn't do it personally. Aston, we've got 20 trades, 134 in the bank. Already have traded Tuolangi to Butcher. Still unsure what to do with my second trade. Taumalolo to McInnes or Tavanga. I'd probably avoid Tavanga at this stage. I know he's been doing decent, but yeah, that's that. And you can go, if you've got a bunch of real cheapies that aren't doing any well, Aston, I'd suggest maybe doing that Beryl to Karaz one. And Lolo could be a trade out as well. So if you want to do Lolo to McInnes, I understand, but he's going to be out 14. Just be aware of that. For that one, Aston, obviously I'll both. Jax, 1k short of Tui, straight to Tohu. So it's Jackson, Burton, or McInnes to trade in. I'd probably go Burton or Jackson. Completely up to you. If you need some more cover in centre or half, then go Burton. If you need something in the mid-edge, then go Jackson. But both very similar to me. Pick up McInnes in 14 would be my thoughts. Thoughts on the side. It's Marcelius. Bench. I have 16 trades, about 75k in the bank. Yeah, cool, mate. I think I'd be getting rid of Randall, though, if you can. That would be my thoughts there. Thoughts on Tuolangi, Snyder for Cobbo and Karaz. I'd probably avoid Cobbo, just speaking of him not playing in 13, for example. Grant gone for around 12 to injury, won't play 13, 17. Yeah, big chance of getting rest in between. 4 games he missed. Trade to IPAP now. I've loaded up on round 13 players already and don't want any more. Yeah, go for it, man. Trade straight swap so you get a really good score this week from IPAPs. Where's the Discord link? I will pop that in for you. Give me a second. There needs to be a disclaimer that accompanies this presentation. No hearts were broken in the making of this podcast. Open carry for those guns is legal where you are present. Thanks, Queenslander. Who was the more urgent to sell, Taff or Thompson? If you guys aren't in the Discord, get in there. The link's in the banner at minimum, but I'll pop it in there as well. Who's the most urgent to sell, Taff or Thompson? I would go for... Gee, that's tough. Do you need in mid? It's just based on cover then, and then I'd probably go Thompson first, Taff after. 17 trades, so just here to Tuolangi to Karaz. Don't want to struggle for trades, hoping for a bounce back from Taff and Tamalolo next week. Mercy's Grant, Lolo, Moale, and Tass. Oh god, that's tough. Katoni Shags. Yeah, okay, go for that. Just the one trade. Madison West bringing in now. Just feel like bringing in guns. He has some big cannons on him, that's for sure. I would personally go 14, but if you have a lot of players already playing in 13, then that's fine. Thanks for letting him know, BJ. Good man. Thoughts on these trades? Train Tuolangi for Karaz, Talakai for Butch this week. Yeah, done. Lock it in. And then you can go from there. Cool. I have Harry Grant out with no hooker cover and 17 trades left. What do I do? All right, so pick up one of those guys. I'd probably... What do you go for? Appy could be a very interesting one, Lukey. He could be a sneaky one there that you could cover. If you want to take the risk and go for Ruben Cotter as well, then he would obviously cover. But yeah, that's the hardest one. Appy Coruscant might be the man. What are your thoughts on trading out Grant? Yep, that's fine. I think of trading Grant down to Tohu, then Schiller to Karaz or Savage. I go Karaz this week, and the first one's good. Awesome. Will Angus play Origin? Most likely. Grant to Robson, Cotter or Starling. Got no hooker cover. Yeah, they're both a bit of a worry, man. No hooker cover. I mean, you got no hookers at all. If you don't, then you're going to have to make one of the trades. And yeah, one of the guys he spoke about, Appy, or these guys. Robson will be safe. Like, he'll definitely play around 13. Cotter has the potential to not, so that's probably the issue. Got to hold Talakai to trading Grant to Tuolangi for Tavanga and Tohu. Yep, nice. Do you think it would be better to get Karaz or Campbell? I'm playing whoever I get. I go Karaz first, just because he's going to make a bit more cash. But yeah, let's go. Grant is out. I can finally trade Grant to Cook. Cook is my favorite player. Good on you. Panda. Is Grant a trade? I think so. I think he is. Again, depending on the trade situation. No hooker cover. I reckon I sell him because of his injury. If you can, yeah, you can. Other than the guys I just spoke about, JB. Have Haas, Cleary, Hines started with all three. Also started, and still have Nanai and Krita. Have been avoiding pick up other Origin players. Have only picked up Cotter over this time. If Nanai and Krita make it, are they around 13, 14 trades out? I doubt Nanai makes Origin. Krita probably a good chance, to be honest. And if that's the case, you can move him on, but he's been scoring well. I don't know, I mean, if he's out 13, he's probably going to back up in 14, being an outside back. So, yeah, it's a good question. Nanai is probably almost a sell. So if he made Origin, then you could sell him. But both, I think, are holds until we find out next week anyway. And then ask again. Yeah, we do know that. Legend Day. 12 trades left. Should have traded Tamalolo and Tuolangi, or hold both. Definitely Tuolangi's out. Tuolangi, sorry. But Lolo, it's up to you. 12 trades left. I'd be holding Talma, unfortunately. Grant and Lolo. I think probably Grant first. Unless you got low trades. If you have low trades, neither. probably have to hold Lolo and hope that he plays next week, to be honest. And I'm bringing in Brandon Smith this week with Grant out injured. He should get extended minutes. Yeah, he should get extended minutes, but he played 58 at a hooker last week and got 28 points, 29 points. Pick up Burton this round or Tohu. I think Burton's probably, obviously a little bit more boom or bust, but he's been scoring really well, and Tohu's got a higher break even, so Burton could be a good one. If you want someone there, it's worth going someone like Moale to a Savage to get rid of the red dot and maybe have someone to make some cash. Got trades in the bank. If you have a bunch of really average guys in that emergencies, like 3 or 4 guys like Moale, Schiller, these types of guys, and then make it. If you don't, then I'd probably just use one of your mid-range 300-400 guys to downgrade to get yourself a bit of cash, and you can loop and stuff like that with it. Thanks, Finn. Appreciate the love. Jake Smith, I'm going Talakai to Mane or Mahoney. Does anyone know how to say it properly yet? I still don't know. Let's go on Tohu, but don't have hooker cover with Grant out. Okay, cool. Yeah, get Reed. It'll be fun. Miss me again. I love you. Oh, sorry, Rupert. I tried. Just make sure that if you are putting in, put a desktop one would be great for the screenshot. And then putting some notes on it. You need some notes on it, otherwise I'm not going to go through it. I'm sorry. Just with so many people putting in their teams, and it's hard to fit it into like a 20-minute video. Is 15 playing too much for round 13? Leaving me only 3 for 17 at the moment. Yeah, no more trades for round 13, guys. If you're going to make any trades, make it for round 17, guys. They get a good score this week, and then they're obviously off next week and go from there. Tuolangi to Campbell and Wale to Savage. I think that's solid, man. Tuolangi to Karaz is also nice. Ooh. Yeah, Karaz is pretty important this week, but I understand why people go Savage as well. Up to you. McInnes or Butcher. I think Butcher this week. McInnes fed to head. Yeah, awesome. Thanks. I don't even know. Appreciate that. But get McInnes in round 14. Thoughts on Talakai, Butcher, and Tuolangi to Karaz, Manu. Unsure whether to get Manu now. Manu's got a hard game this week, so I'd potentially go for Karaz this week. He's got more money to make, and then you can go Manu next week if you like on that one. The first one's good. Yeah, what you said there. Just bring him in after that. Sounds good. Sexton to buy. Not for me, but I can understand why people are wanting to. Taff and Randall to Karaz and Manu. Yep, lock it in. Thoughts on Mitch Barnett? Yeah, I really like him, obviously, but doesn't play around 13, so I'm not going to think about him now. In round 14, he's going to be a big buy. So that's that. Tamalolo plus Ilias to Butcher and Sexton. Yeah, up to you what you want to do with Sex. But, yeah. All right, Skibby, hope Karaz doesn't burn me. This is a funny one. I read this. Doesn't burn me getting him with a negative break even like picking up Talakai. 5 poor scores in a row after buying him. Tass dropped the next game. Burbo injured. Did it for me. Rest in peace. Yeah, you deserve 12 likes for that one and a little love heart. Yeah, fun time, Skibby. Sorry about that. Crazy times. All right, anyone else here? What do we got? One more. Kiri or Manu? I'd go Kiri first, if I'm honest. I do like the duel though. And, we'll play the odd game of fullback and stuff. That's the big thing to think about with Joey. Like, if you pick him up next week, you should have a really good score. So, yeah, he'll be a keeper in the centers. Kiri might not be. So, both great options. Kiri, Manu, you're probably holding for the rest of the year. Kiri, you might not be. So, if you've got a lot of trades, I think Kiri could score better over the next bunch. But Manu long-term could be the better play. Anyway, guys, that's the question and answers video there. Went through Harry as well. I hope that helped you guys a lot. And we'll catch you in the trades video.